Good afternoon, everyone. 5 o'clock straight up, a Monday edition of On Cue. Rich Quinones here. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up on this August 18th, 2025. 60 to play with. We mentioned to the listening audience and the viewing audience last week about the rebranding. No more middays. We are back to On Cue, which we started about 7 years ago on AM 1490 on the On Cue Sports Network as well on the YouTube channel. So we're delighted. We are on multiple platforms on YouTube, on X. Also, I want to welcome back SR 1029 FM The Game. You'll catch the content here and there. Also on CSN Florida as well. We're powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. 20% off your first purchase if you check out the show notes below on a Manolo, Lunas, Mentioso, Man Up Monday edition of On Cue with Rich Quinones. Also from our really good friends, we've got a couple new ones, by the way, the Jersey Shore Breaks of the TBL. Also, we want to give a shout out to one of our branding sponsors, Three Brooks Bourbon Whiskey, and of course, Get Ready with Tea, which are available in select stores as well. All right, 60 to play with. Let's get it rolling. Very, 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 very busy day today, as we mentioned. 5 o'clock is when we start. And again, we're going to have a little bit of fluctuating with the times and the platform. So just be patient, hang in there as always. And Man starts us off. And no, Manolo Monday is not copyrighted by the old Middays with Q. No, 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 no. If you guys have just tuned in, you know exactly what it is. It's a Lunas Manolo Mentioso Man Up Monday edition of On Cue, which means we call out the BS takes, the picks, and the opinions. And oh, by the way, you know, the NFL news and notes, fantastic, right? Because it never stops. So I guess this will bother a couple of teams out there, and this might bother a couple of fan bases, but we already know that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be active even before week one. And they're the one team that Howie has a way of basically saying, well, wait a second. Can we go get a DN? Can we go get another wide receiver? Can we get a tight end? Can we fill in the spots here and there? So I'm telling you right now, you've got, you know, these rumors going on. The Eagles already made a move, which I'll get into in a couple moments, but you've got these rumors going on with Hendrickson. You got these rumors going on with Micah Parsons and where they might land, what's going to happen. Are they going to get signed? Are they not going to get signed? So you already saw that Michi, that's Howie Roseman pulled the trade with the Texans. And the Eagles apparently beat the 49ers to the punch in this one. So now it comes out, and this is like the rich getting richer. The rich getting richer. Trey Hendrickson. There is buzz right now that not only are the Texans in play, but the Philadelphia Eagles are in strong play when it comes to Trey Hendrickson and his talent. He's due $16 million in 2025. His contract is set to expire next March. I mean, you talk about the rich getting richer in the NFL. It's exactly what the Philadelphia Eagles would be doing because that's what they do. They figure out a way to, you know, upgrade and make these bold splashes and decisions. De facto chimes in, ultra casual shirt kind of accents the new border. Well, we're going for that look. We appreciate that nonetheless. We appreciate that de facto. But I will say this, you know, right now, if the Philadelphia Eagles go out and they, you know, make a move for Hendrickson, who's 29, 30 years of age, and he wants to be compensated accordingly. And we know Cincinnati, their ownership group led by Mike Brown, they're cheap. Even though Mike Brown came out and said that the four-time Pro Bowler has earned a new contract. Man, can you imagine adding him to that defensive front, 17 and a half sacks last season. Now, as far as the preseason, and here you go, for the Browns fans out there, for the Shador Sanders fans out there, this is not breaking news, but we told you that Cleveland, at the end of the day, Stefanski was going to do what? He was going to go the route of the move that made sense to save his job and give him some wiggle room, a little bit of rope to play with, and that's naming Joe Flacco, quarterback number one. I thought Gabriel played well until he had to pick six, which coincidentally enough, when I went back and I watched the game, is exactly what we were talking about on the broadcast. He was playing well up until that point. So the Browns right now decide Joe Flacco is going to be their guy. He's going to be their starter to open up the 2025 season. And that kind of, it ends the four-way quarterback competition speculation, right? Because you knew he was going to be the favorite to start the season. And the fact that he's taken a majority of the snaps in training camp, Kenny Pickett didn't help his cause because he's injured. Dylan Gabriel has gotten some reps, but again, also missed a preseason game with the hamstring injury. Shador Sanders has not received any first-team reps, missed a team's second preseason game because of the oblique injury, but played well his first time out we saw last week, and Deshaun Watson's going to be on the physically unable to perform list. So you don't have to worry about Deshaun Watson going forward. So this is not breaking news. We kind of knew that this was going to happen. I like I said, I think Shador, played himself on the roster. I think Gabriel, believe it or not, I trust this kid a little more than Kenny Pickett. And then you got Joe Flacco. I think those are going to be your three quarterbacks. I think Kenny Pickett might be on the outside looking in here, to be quite honest with you. I really do. And, listen, you're going to make mistakes in the preseason. We all know that. Young guys, young quarterbacks, they're going to make some mistakes. You're not going to be on the same page with some wide receivers. Running backs are going to miss picking up the blitz and assignments here and there. Tight ends are not going to get chipped. Some guys are not going to come back and run their routes properly. But I thought the kid didn't play particularly bad. Now, the other story is as far as performance that I came away with this weekend is that Jackson Dart played really well for the New York Giants again. Now, we talked a little bit about this last week. We talked a lot about this with Lloyd Vance last month or so. My thought doesn't change with Jackson Dart as far as if he should be the Giants starting quarterback week 1 of the 2025 season when they open up against Washington Commanders. But what I will say now is because he's played well in 2 straight preseason games, and listen, the Giants, they're playing, they look good in the preseason, but hell, it's just a preseason. And I told you this on Friday. Carter, that everyone raved about, watch what happens when you get double and triple team. Well, welcome to the NFL, big man. But Dart played well. 14 of 16, a $137, that gorgeous RPO. When he pulled it back, decided to not take off and run and found the tight end. That was an outstanding play. Like, that's the play that's been missing from that offense and the quarterbacking position for years since Eli. But now what you have is a situation where if you're Brian Daboll, you've got to sit Russell Wilson down. And you've got to basically tell Russell Wilson, hey, man, this kid's backup and he's playing well. And that's translation to a veteran like Russell Wilson, who's won before in the NFL, who's a future Hall of Fame quarterback, who's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's translation for, you better play well. You better play well, or this kid's going to be right there. This kid's going to be right there. and we're going to get to him sooner rather than later. That's how I look at that. That's my read on the situation. When you've got a young quarterback playing well like that, and you're putting more pressure on the veteran, that's the only thing I can think of. Because if you're Brian Dable, you understand you're fighting for your job right now, right? Period. You're fighting for your job. Let me see. Pick six was on the tight end, pulled his hands back, Ricky Waters style. For who, for what? It's preseason. Are you talking about the Gabriel pick? Yeah. I mean, I thought he played well. I really do. Gabriel seems like a good kid, good head on his shoulders. If his talent is good enough, he's the future. So you're going to go Gabriel, more of an upside over Shador Sanders. All right. Like I said, let's not get carried away by preseason on either side of the ball, but you might be onto something. Maybe we undervalued this kid. We underestimated this kid, right? But listen, you just want to see progress. That's all you want to see. You just want to see progress. And as I mentioned, listen, Sanders had a really nice debut, a buck 36, a couple touchdowns against the Panthers. They won the game. Okay, here you go. Everyone's ecstatic. And I thought Cleveland, showed a little bit of fight, some upside. Again, even though it's preseason against the Philadelphia Eagles. McCord, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I want to get, too bent out of shape. I didn't like what I saw from the Eagles' run defense, though, to be quite honest with you. Pierre Strong was averaging about 7 yards a carry. But again, it is preseason. So we know that these young quarterbacks are trying to push the veterans. You and I know it. We all know it. That's just where we're at. The other news coming down in D.C. is not even with the wide receiver. Okay? It is now basically with the running back. All of a sudden, Brian Robinson Jr. is going to sit. Brian Robinson Jr. is not going to play tonight in the preseason game against Cincinnati. And again, maybe that's it for Brian Robinson Jr. After what, 2 or 3 seasons with Washington? He apparently wants out. So you got a little bit of dissension. You got some nonsense going down there in the DMV with the Commanders. Now, Lake Lewis tweeted out, and Lake Lewis has a very good pulse of what's going on with Washington. He thinks a deal is imminent and a deal is going to get done between Washington and McLaurin. So he thinks that deal is imminent. He thinks all signs are pointing to a positive direction, that a deal gets done, a deal takes place, and then all this other kind of aggravation and all this drama and all this other stuff, you just stick it to the wayside. You just get set for week 1. He said he actually thinks this weekend. He said a lot of signs are pointing in that direction. So he's piped in to the Commanders. He's definitely piped in. So again, we'll see if anything comes about. But we know one thing, week 1's right around the corner. Week 1 in the NFL is right around the corner. And you already have some teams that are dealing with some headaches. You got some teams that are dealing with some distractions. And I don't think this is the way you want to start a season off if you're some of these teams. I really don't. You're looking around. You don't need these distractions. You just want to go out and play football. You want your team to be set. You want your team to be ready to go. And this is where we're at with some of these teams. And I think if you're a Giants fan, you love the fact that Carter's got a little chip, a little edge. The running back's playing well. You got a couple good young tight ends. The defense hasn't played poorly. Defense is going to be pretty decent, I think, if they can get to the quarterback. I'm still not entirely sold as the Giants as a whole. And I don't think they're going to win a lot of football games. But this is your best case scenario. Jackson Dart, just like Sanders, making it harder for their head coach, respectively, to make a decision. Now, we know Russell Wilson's going to start week 1, but now you've got that the backup plan in place. So worst case scenario, if a Flacco and or a Russell Wilson struggle respectively, then you will see the backup for Cleveland, whether it's going to be Shador Sanders or Gabriel, and you'll certainly see Jackson Dart, the backup for the Giants, get an opportunity to be under center sooner rather than later. So that is the plus. That's the positive. And to, I think Madman brought this up a couple weeks ago. You don't have to turn around and rush Jackson Dart. You just don't. Carter has a chip, all right. He was extra salty on social after him. Yeah, he was, because he got doubled and triple teamed and he got chip blocked and he didn't like that. But you know what? It's the NFL, rookie. Deal with it. You shouldn't be sprouting off after social media after a friggin' preseason game. You really shouldn't, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I wouldn't be. I don't know why he was, but I like the edge. But he's got to understand he's going to get chipped. He's going to get doubled. He's going to get tripled. It's life in the NFL, man. You got to overcome that, right? You got to overcome that. De facto says Robinson's average at best. The rest of the rogue galleries at best. Your commanders arrived too early. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Washington's still in the Eagles' head. Only thing I don't like is shouldn't be sensitive publicly. I agree. That's the one thing I would admit. You shouldn't come out. You want to get mad and you have a couple comments after the game in the presser. Hey, man, I get it. I'm a rookie. They're going to chip me. They're going to try to take me out. Hey, man, maybe we'll see him down the road. You leave it at that. Even though it's preseason, you're not playing the AFC East. But I agree with you. You leave it, you leave it at that, period. Right? Kevin chimes in from North Jersey, Jackson. Q, I'm telling you, this team's going to be better than most people, including yourself, expect. You might be right. And maybe, pardon me, they're catching Washington at the right time to start the season. They're catching Dallas at the right time with the Parsons nonsense. But again, you keep backing me in a corner, I'm not going to keep moving the goalpost back. I just don't think they're going to be very good. Maybe 3-4 wins, 5 is a high watermark. You play competitive. You see Jackson Dart, as I mentioned, sometime in maybe late October, early November, if they're out of it, which by all counts they're going to be because they're always out of it. I mean, the Giants season ends in Halloween. Guys, don't get carried away. Like I said, preseason, you just want to get out of there unscathed. You want to see these young players get the game speed down, the reps, the decision making. If you're a young quarterback, get out of there unscathed. You don't want any injuries. And you want to see if they can, get a feel for the game. That's all you're looking for. And if you're a Giants fan, then as I mentioned, the best case scenario is Brian Daboll and Joe Shane are looking around saying, hey, I think we've got something with this kid. I think we've got something. And it's good to have backups, veteran backups on the roster in that position to start or be a bridge. I'm not a fan of the bridge quarterback. I'm not. I've never been a fan of the bridge quarterback. I think, again, we get carried away. And we want to see, the young guy right away. Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. But it's almost like stuck between a rock and a hard place because you can be a practice squad, you can be a preseason hero and look like a stud, and then the regular season comes along and it's totally different. You're going against first team defenses. Defenses are going against first team offensive lines. First team offenses. You're going against the Mahomes, the Jacksons, the Allens, the Hurts of the world, not backups. But as I said, a small sample size is something to build upon, and that's all I'm looking for, right? No, Washington is not vulnerable to the Giants. Washington, listen, I believe Washington will take care of what they need to take care of. I don't believe Washington takes this gigantic step back like you guys do, and I don't believe the Giants take this gigantic leap forward. I don't. I really don't. Stay focused. It's preseason. Most of what we're seeing is irrelevant. Yes, that's it. You're only watching it for a certain couple things. And there you go. For young talent. That's all that is. You're looking at the evaluation of young talent, i.e., the quarterbacks that we've been talking about. You want to see some of these young quarterbacks or some of these young running backs or some of these linemen or some of these tackles or some of these DBs. You're looking to see, are they going to push other players? What do we always talk about? Position battles. Position battles, right? And I'm telling you, man, like for instance, I'll tell you right now, if you think about this, if you're an Eagles fan, um, listen, you're talking about the defensive side of the ball, right? I think there's some serious questions on the defensive side of the ball for the Eagles. Now, if you want to talk about the right guard position, that kid Tyler Steens wrapped it up. This kid has taken every first team rep at right guard, all 15 practices, got the afternoon off in that second preseason game. The rest of the starters on offense. Remember now, he lost his job to Becton in 2024. Right now, this kid is having an unbelievable training camp. So he's earned that starting position. And now what you're looking at is everyone knows exactly what the hell's going on, because all you want to see, the fact that, the Eagles add a nice little receiver. The kid Michi is a nice little receiver. Now, do with that as you will, but they're adding depth in certain positions because they want to keep strengthening their offense. They want to keep strengthening their defense. Now, the tight end room is interesting, right? The running back room, we kind of know it's Saquon, but you can also make a case for some of these young backs that have been standing out, that have been playing really well when they've been given the opportunity. I mean, listen, I like what I saw. That kid, what's his name? The kid, Aeneas Smith, 24-year-old, the kid from Texas A&M. He's played well. He's played well for the Philadelphia Eagles. He has. Look, we know their wide receivers are arguably the best position players, along with the running back in line in football, with Brown and Smith. But now you're adding different parts, different pieces to the puzzle, and that's what you want. They're adding depth, and that's exactly what you want. You've got good players, man. So okay, let's just say Smith gets banged up. Now that's one of the moves that they made for the Texans wide receiver right now, who's only 25. Who's only 25. If AJ Brown gets banged up, well, you got Johnny Wilson. You got that kid Smith. You got the kid Williams. I think, listen, Saquon, we know Saquon is Saquon, right? We know Saquon is Saquon. So no one's sitting there saying there's going to be any type of, but hey, you want to see what Will Shipley has. And that kid had what? 45, 46 yards rushing, 6 or 7 attempts, average about 7 yards a carry. You're looking at depth at these positions right now. We already know some of these positions are locked in with these all-world talents. But as Man pointed out, preseason right now, position battles, competitions. That's it. Competition. I want to see the young kids step up. 25 past 5 o'clock hour, cranking it up on a Lunes Mentioso Man Up Monday edition of On Cue. We're powered by our very good friends over at Get Ready with Tea. We are happy to have them on board of On Cue. And of course, Three Brooks Bourbon Whiskey. Don't forget to check them out in select stores as well. We'll give you a little more information on those beverages of choice going forward. All right, let's check out what everyone has to say on X as well, on Facebook. We'll get to some more of your comments. We'll get you caught up to speed a little baseball too. And as I mentioned, we are dropping new editions of BYP later on this week. That's already been set in stone. And I did also mention you guys that Back Your Play will now be heard on TV 48 WWON in New York every Sunday, 11 o'clock, to get you kind of up to speed and get ready if you guys are looking to bet on the games Sunday. So you got BYP at 11 to 12, and then you can check out your own pregame shows on your said select networks. Joe D chimes in. Q, I know you mentioned the other day that the Giants should be shopping around Winston. That seems to be the newest rumor, because that tells me that Jackson Dart is going to be the backup. Russell Wilson will be the starter. Jackson Dart will be the backup, right? And DeVito at this moment, they still like DeVito, so there you go. I mean, look, Jameis Winston. I joked I'd rather see him out there than Russell Wilson, because Jameis Winston is at least going to, you know, um, throw the ball down the field. Now, what are you getting for Jameis Winston? So Art Stapleton, who is a little goofy, but he covers the Giants for NJ.com. He basically said, quote, well, let me set it up for you. The Giants won't trade Winston, quote, unless someone makes them a Godfather offer. According to Stapleton, New York likes Winston's presence in the room and expects him to be Jackson Dart's backup next year. So they signed Jameis Winston 2 years, $8 million deal in March. Then they turned around and they subsequently signed Russell Wilson before drafting Dart. So now, like Cleveland, you got a surplus of quarterbacks. Okay, fine. Um, you know, Brian Dable already came out and named Russell Wilson the starter, and also kind of hedged it by saying, well, we got a good quarterbacking room. You got a couple vets with Jameis and Tommy, and you got the kid we drafted, Jackson Dart. They're still competing. Now, that kind of tells me, now follow me. That tells me that I don't believe you're getting a first round pick for Jameis Winston. You get a second round pick for Jameis Winston? Russell Wilson's not going to be here next year unless the Giants go 13-4, 12-5, and Russell Wilson plays in an all-pro. He's comeback player of the year and he leads them to the playoffs. It's going to be Jackson Dart team. It's just a question of who's going to be backing him up, right? All right, quick timeout. We Q, we know you don't like the bridge quarterback, but are you a fan of Teddy Bridgewater? I see what you did there, Michael. I see what you did there. Oh man. Oh man. I was laughing the other day because I was like, wait a second. Bridgewater already back? Is he already back in, right? With Tampa already, right? Teddy P with the gloves. You guys are too much. Niners going to greatly miss Jordan Mason, losing run backs left and right. Had to sign Jeff Wilson. Yeah, the injuries, man. The injuries. It's absolutely crazy. Can't figure it out. You cannot figure it out. Some of these teams dealing with these soft tissue injuries, some of these guys being carted off the field. I mean, there's a lot of nonsense going on with some of these injuries. All right, quick timeout. We'll come back on the other side. We'll take you up to 6 o'clock straight up. All right, 31 past 5 o'clock hour, a Monday edition on Q right here. Tom and Summers Point chimes in. Q, I'm going to man up as you suggested. You might be right, and Bede might be cooked. Yeah, I was going to say that for later in the week. I really was. I was going to say that for later in the week with the Embiid nonsense. We'll do that later in the week because I'm over, you know, I don't care about these health updates. I don't. I really don't care. At this point, when you're on the field, when you're on the court, that'll make all the difference in the world. And just not feeling it, as we mentioned. Hey, don't forget, first purchase of fresh roasted coffee. Use the promo code in the show notes, BYP20. Get for 20% off your first purchase. You can also catch Back Your Play later on in the week as well. We'll drop that on Amazon, Spotify, and of course on Apple, taking a pod as well. So we are happy with that. Let's see what else you guys have to say. RJ chimes in. Q, do you think because of Dart's recent good play that kind of puts Wilson on a short leash to start the season? I do. I do. I definitely think at this moment you are you're looking at young quarterbacks trying to push these veterans. I think that's if Shador Sanders wasn't hurt and he got reps in that second preseason game and he played well again, all that does is just it makes Stefanski have to think a little harder, and it makes the decision for the head coach not an easy one. But because he's been banged up, the same thing with Kenny Pickett. I mean, I don't get it. Like Kenny Pickett, we've seen enough. I don't know why are they enamored with Kenny Pickett. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Flacco, you know what you have, and then maybe Gabriel and Sanders, you believe they're green, they're raw, and you can work with them a little bit. Develop them a little bit. And I'll tell you, man, I honestly, I just. Oh, by the way, the official here it is. Eagles acquired John Michie the third and a 2026 6th-round pick from the Texans in exchange for tight end Harrison Bryant and a 2026 5th-round pick. There you go. So if you guys wanted the particulars in that, it's going to be fascinating what happens in DC, what happens in Cincinnati, and what happens with the Dallas Cowboys and Parsons. Because I don't know this game right now. You know, this is chicken right now. Because the Cowboys and Parsons are at what we like to call a little bit of a impasse. And Parsons he's not going to budge. And we're now on 3, 4, 5 months, and we haven't even come closer to an agreement between the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons. So there's been talk throughout training camp and now the preseason. If you're a Dallas fan, you got a couple weeks before the season starts, regular season, and these two, Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys, and Micah Parsons, are no closer to coming to any type of resolution. I mean, if you're Cowboys fans, that's got to worry you. Because what's happened now is it's not business. It's become personal. It's gotten personal. Jerry taking his little shots, Parsons making his comments, kind of ignoring each other during training camp, not speaking. No one's reaching out to each other. Agent, being iced out. Jerry Jones icing Parsons out. Parsons saying no one from the organization, just like the same issue in DC, has been calling him. Not a good look. Not a good look at all. And I think the Dallas Cowboys they're in for a rude awakening this season. And when I say rude awakening, this might be the year where you finally pull the plug on Dak Prescott. Because it's not going to work anymore with Dak. It's not. And you wound up paying all these other offensive players, and now you get deal with Parsons. That's a mess. That is an absolute mess. And they're already dealing with some injuries. They already lost that wide receiver, Mingo. So they got some issues right now. And then you got the teams that are just always consistent, right? You got the teams that are just, going about their business, setting up for another run. Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City, Philadelphia Eagles, just quietly, just going about the business. They're not even worrying about anything else. They're not. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing and just going about their business. And it probably annoys the hell out of a lot of, the fan bases of other teams respectively. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles by their fan base. And I think within that locker room for this team to get back to the Super Bowl, because they know they can do something that's very rare and very special. And that's go back to back and win it again. And, chalk me up for saying it right now. I guarantee you they're on the phone figuring out how the hell can we land an all-pro pass rusher? Because if I'm these other teams, why are you even picking up when the Eagles call? It's like spam. It's like a telemarketer. Like I see Howie's number. I see something 215. I'm not picking it up. Right? I'm not picking it up. 215, nah, hard pass. I mean, because the Cincinnati gives a green light to Henderson. Go ahead, seek a trade. Now, what's the asking price? First round pick, 2 first round picks, another young defensive player. Oh, by the way, Philadelphia Eagles, they have plenty of that right now. Now, the question is, are they willing to give any of that up? The one thing Howie Roseman absolutely loves, the one thing he absolutely loves is depth, and he loves the defensive side of the ball, man. He loves pass rushers, and you got one of the best in the game. 57 sacks in 4 seasons. He's averaging 14 per, 52 tackles, for loss, 113 quarterback hits. Now, trading for a 30-year-old vet kind of is, runs counter to everything that Howie Roseman has done in the offseason. And honestly, pass rushing spot isn't weak right now, but you're stacking it up, man, and you're bringing these guys in different rotations, second, third, and long. I know there's bigger holes to plug. I do. I know there's bigger holes to plug, but man, I would not put it past them. I want it. Now, I'm not going to bet it's going to be in Philly, but I can see this. I can see him landing somewhere else. I just don't know why in the world are you even picking up the phone when Howie Roseman calls. It makes no sense. No sense. Mike in Ohio chimes in. Q. Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I'll roll with Joe Flacco 4 or 5 weeks, but I actually was impressed with Gabriel. I mean, Mike's he's a Browns fan. He is a Browns fan. You're going to roll with Flacco, as we mentioned. The one thing, did you guys see this? And I was a little taken back by this. So the comment by Gabriel, he said, there's entertainers, then there's competitors. My job is to compete. Now, is that not a shot at Shedeur Sanders, or is this kid poking the bear, or is that both? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Like, the kid hasn't done anything in the friggin' NFL. Yeah, and look, let's be honest. The kid, if you talk body of work in college, Shedeur blows him away. I mean, it's just blows him away. Now, did he make some plays the other day? Yeah, he made some plays, but you're coming out and you're saying that, entertainers, then there's competitors. My job is to compete. Stones, as we like to say. Stones. Q said he thinks Sanders is clearly the best quarterback on Cleveland and should start. I didn't say that. Looks like Parsons and Hendrickson trades are looking good. I didn't say that at all. I mean, there he is. Well, I can bring him in right now. There he is, just sipping on his water. This is a cameo on a Lunas Manolo Mentioso Man Up Monday edition of On Q as we welcome in the incredible shrinking Hermano, Angel Martinez. What's going on, Angel? How are you?
Que pasa there, brother?
Nada aquí, nada aquí.
Not much other than it is sweltering hot here in the great state of Florida, where it feels like it's 100 degrees and the shade and about 200 degrees in the sun. So it's hot down here.
Now, you've got we know you get a little goofy with the weather, with the hurricane. Anything? I don't need a weather report. I don't need a Doppler radar from you. I don't need that. I just want to know is anything making their way towards you?
No.
All right. Well, hold on a second. Man says Angel, and he
What's up,
fires off.
man?
We're not censored, so what do you call a 300-pound stripper, Angel? I don't know. I thought maybe we were done these games. I thought we were over this. I thought this part of what we do, it was it's just anyway. We were talking. Here you go. For a minute, I thought it said striper. Unbelievable. So you're going to be now. Is Martinez and company going to be at Tampa Joe's for the NFL season, or are you doing a couple one-offs there in Tampa?
No, I'll be there for the NFL season, flip-flopping with other duties as well. But so if I'm not there on a Thursday, then I would be there on a Friday. There'll be a full schedule kind of lineup that I'm going to put out there. But the first one, the inaugural one, will be August 29th, which is coming up here in 2 weeks. And then I am off to Illinois, Wisconsin for a wedding. So I'll be gone for a week. And then when I come back, basically, we'll keep
Illinois in Chicago?
Huh?
Illinois is Chicago?
Chicago's in Illinois. Yes, I know what you're talking about, but yes, it is in Chicago. So my wife's nephew is getting married. So she has two nephews and a niece. The niece.
You said Wisconsin. What am I missing here?
Huh?
You said Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, they're getting married in Wisconsin, but Chicago,
okay.
Illinois. Yeah,
I got you. I just, geographically, you're a little off. So what days? So when are you doing? When are you doing? You're going to do it on a Friday, the football show, Martinez and Company on Friday.
Martinez and Company will be that. Yeah, it'll be on a Friday, so it'll follow whatever Thursday games. Oh boy, dear boys, things that we just don't forget. Jeez Louise. I knew it somehow. Okay, that's the end of my appearance here on a Monday.
Yeah, George Pickens, Kenny Pickett moment. I mean, I don't.
Listen,
probably
whatever.
right.
Throw it back. That's fine. No, so it'll be on Friday. So it's a prelude to the weekend, NFL Sunday. So it'll be on Friday nights, 5 to 7. So basically, it'll be a happy hour / football and college football as well. So we'll get a little bit into a little bit of everything. Hopefully some Bucs fans will show up, as I keep saying that they should show up there. I mean, it is Tampa, for God's sake. And you would think you're surrounded by Bucs fans, but there'll probably be like more Steelers fans because Lord knows there's a ton of them down here. Eagles fans. And yes, even Cowboys fans can even show up. So we'll see. We'll see if
who's a big Steelers fan. Vince was a big time Steelers fan, but now all of a sudden he's a Jacksonville fan. Nobody knows what happened, but he went from the Steel Curtain to Duval, and
could
I kind of think
because of the latest wide receiver / defensive end pick. Could it be possibly?
Travis Hunter? Yeah. Absolutely. So is there buzz down there for the Bucs? I mean, I know Miami, there's a bunch of crap going on with the Dolphins. There's a lot of distractions, but what about the buzz for Tampa Bay?
There is. There's a pretty good buzz they feel with what they've done during the offseason and the additions. They picked up a couple of really good rookies that have been standing out during camp. Uh, they there is a great bit of buzz, and they feel that even though that Baker Mayfield has been getting the negative spotlight saying that he would never win a Super Bowl, the Bucks feel like this could potentially be their year. Potentially, just like every other NFL team. Just like the Eagles could potentially win back-to-back Super Bowls. But there is a great buzz about it. It's actually more than it was last year. Last year was kind of a wait and see what was going to happen. Now that they know they're going to have Mike Evans here for at least another 3 years. Some of the injuries are not well for the Bucks, but good running back. Bucky's going to be doing really well. So it's just, I think this team should win their division once again, unless New Orleans just magically pops out of nowhere.
They stink. That division's no disrespect to your Bucks fans.
Yeah.
Down there, but that division stinks. Atlanta stinks. Carolina's going to be a little better. New Orleans stinks. Bucks should win that division, hands down.
They should.
Hands down.
I think the one thing I'm kind of surprised about though is with the Commanders, where the Commanders are getting a buzz. I want to say up until maybe the end of March, early April, and now it seems like there's a backspin of there's starting to be some stuff.
Well, a lot of the issues now with some of the players, obviously.
Yeah. So it's okay. De facto.
Wow. Rich Quinones thinks A-Rod will have a great year in Pittsburgh. There's still time to jump back on the train, Vince. No. I think he missed a comment de facto. Oh no, they want to know: are you right now on August 18th? Are you going to proclaim the Eagles as a Super Bowl champ? Are the Eagles going back to back, or will they be like 12-1 and you'll bitch and complain that you want the head coach fired?
Why wouldn't I? They worked last season, didn't it? So no, I could definitely see the Eagles running it back. I really could. Again,
it's so easy. Like this B team, C team, easy. My God, I don't even have to back this guy in a corner.
Well, no, because you got the only ones, truthfully, if you look at, and I'm not, first of all, let me put a statement out there. I'm not being the crazy homer, but if you look at Detroit right now would be the other long shot into the NFC. And I would like to see an NFC championship between Detroit and the Eagles, if that's the case. But
you know what? You should know your audience right now. And my audience. Like, we call this reading the room. You just got what you got. Basically, we got to mark the tape. You just inadvertently, subconsciously, now you've stated it, you put it out there. That basically right now, it's a reverse mush. So now, mark the tape, 5:49, Monday, August 18th on Q with myself and mi hermano Angel Martinez. The Philadelphia Eagles will probably go 6-11 right now. Yes. The Maloiki has been placed. Mark the tape, 5:50. You just kiboshed the Philadelphia Eagles' road to a repeat.
Nah, not at all. They don't listen to me anyway, so what difference does it make?
What's that?
I said they don't listen to me anyway, so what difference does it make?
Well, I mean, listen. Obviously, we're through the Stanley Cup Finals. We know Florida now is that hockey town. You got the Bucks. I'm not even going to ask you about the Rays. Have you been following much baseball at all, or no?
No, with as much stuff as I got going on, I really haven't. Plus, I'm waiting to see how Dad's prognosis is going to end up being. Hopefully, something here positive on the flip side. But no, the Rays. One thing with the Rays has been driving me nuts, just like everybody else down here. People are just trying to figure out this. So there is a team. One person in particular out of Jacksonville who's bringing a team with them, and then two guys out of Tampa that want to bring on that are going to buy out the Rays. I think that's pretty much a done deal. What everybody's waiting for is to see where the Rays are going to play. Now, they're going to put the paper mache back over Tropicana Field because in the law that he wrote with MLB and the city of St. Petersburg said if there was a natural disaster, they were responsible for putting the paper mache back over Tropicana Field. Now, the Mayor Welch has also stated that he is done with the Rays. So is the city of St. Pete. So they are not welcomed back in 2028, when supposed alleged now, the new stadium would start getting its construction, blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of feel bad for the city of St. Pete because they're going to spend $22.5 million on a roof that's only going to be good for the next 3 seasons. And the Rays do have to honor it. So because it's a year delayed from them putting it back, then the Rays have to stay. The original was till 2027. Now they have to stay till 2028. The only thing it does is buy time for the new ownership to have the new stadium built by 2029.
And that's a Jacksonville developer.
Yes.
Yeah. 1.7 billion.
Yeah. I mean, are they worth it? If I'm being completely honest, no, they're not.
Listen, that's not a bad profit. He bought the team for Sternberg purchased a team for $200 million in 2004. So this is all about moving the team back to Tampa.
Correct. Yeah. They want them back. Now, on the flip side, and again, everybody has to kind of take this a little bit with a grain of salt. So people were dying for outdoor baseball. Okay. So the Yankees allowed for the Rays to play their Steinbrenner Field. Now, of course, when you add the dog days of summer and people are like, oh my God, it's ridiculously hot. Yeah, it is, because that's what you guys wanted. So now the new ownership group is looking at it as either A, if they do make the new stadium in Ybor City, do they make it completely enclosed, or would they do like the Marlins where they have a retractable roof? Right now, the consensus is that they will have it completely encased. And obviously, because they want to make sure the fan experience is cool, the players are cool, they're not friggin' dying like they've been doing since they've been playing down here. That, and also understand between hurricanes and thankfully, it's only been very minimal, the delays between the summer storms. So the Rays have gotten super lucky on that behalf, because other than that, truthfully, they probably should have been about their 20th delayed game when they're playing here because of the summer storms.
Yeah, I mean, I've maintained this for years. It's not a baseball town. Listen, you're down there, it's not, even when Miami Heat were great, you had front runners that would go to the NBA finals and the playoffs games. I think it was more of a basketball town, probably Florida, when it was in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And you had those Knicks, Indiana Heat, those kind of, Heat and Bulls kind of rivalries. I get, why they want to move it back to Tampa. I mean, look, it's all about revenue. I know they've been trying to build a new stadium for 20 something years right now. It's just, it's some of these markets, it's not sustainable and it's tough. I mean, and Jacksonville, I don't know what their draw is. Miami, it's so gorgeous down there. Yeah, you're going to go to the games, and you got Tampa, and it's nice down there as well. And it's almost like ho hum, you got the Bucks down there, right? I mean, thank God you get the Florida Panthers going back to back and winning it, because I maintain right now that state is a hockey town. It's a hockey state. I mean, they're a successful franchise. Tampa obviously had the cup of coffee with Brady. The COVID, hosting the Super Bowl, winning it. Other than that, Miami, Jacksonville, It's like, I know what they're trying to do. I get it. And plus, that state is saturated with so many colleges. That's another thing. So you do have kind of a pick in the litter of what teams you want to follow and support.
Yeah, you do. And then on the flip side to that too, you have, as you just brought up, between the Lightning and the Panthers, now you have the new ownership group that's taken over for Jeff Finnick as he steps away being the owner, and he will still be on the board for 1 year to kind of help in the transition and help these guys out, to let them know that, hey, you do have a well-established fan base here. They just renamed the Amalie Arena to the Benchmark International Arena on a multi-year deal for naming rights, and $3 million of the money, $3 million to $30 million. $3 million is going to go back into the community, to help, improvements, parks, and some other stuff. Now, it's an undisclosed amount, but a lot of people are just starting to feel that the undisclosed amount is because the Lightning want to stay competitive. In order to stay that, obviously, you have to raise the stakes as far as the books. You look at the Panthers, they can, again, make another run if they wanted to. They almost just about kept everybody in place, and they're still under the cap. So in order to keep it a hockey town, the Lightning knew exactly where they stood. The only thing that a lot of fans, including the employees of the Tampa Bay Lightning, are going to miss, you've never had an owner. And I don't care where. And I know people don't like Taylor Swift, a lot of folks, but you do the comparison between Jeff Finnick and Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift took care of her road crew. She was giving them 6-figure bonuses for her Eras tour because there was so much stuff involved. Jeff Finnick took the profit that he had gained from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and what did he do? Sent checks to the employees. Basically walked around and handed them, here, thank you for helping me build this team. Thank you for helping me build this community. No other owner has ever gone around. Some people got high 5 figures. Some people got 6 figures. Now you got to think Jeff Finnick didn't have to do that. He could have just counted his billions, be like, you know what? See you guys.
Yeah.
But he loves the town so much and loves and appreciates the people that work for him. So it's going to be hard to see how this new younger group is going to adapt to what Jeff Finnick had built. And then obviously, do they continue making upgrades to now the Benchmark International? Because it's still a leased building. They don't own, the Lightning don't own that building. Or do they start thinking like the Rays, like the Rowdies, and is it time for them to build their own arena? Me personally, I think they should stay there, maybe make a deal with the city, because it is a beautiful venue. I mean, it's really, really nice. So it's just going to be, there's a lot of unknowns that's going to happen between the Lightning and the Rays for the moment. But I think the Lightning will have more clarity than the Rays ever will, because Rays fans are just getting really pissed off of what's going on. And if you got the Dunedin Blue Jays and the Clearwater Threshers from the Phillies and Toronto Blue Jays right in your area, and you only pay $7 a ticket, you're going to go see them before you go see the Rays.
Listen, it's a good point. I mean, it's what Man said. Baseball should still be big down there, especially with all the Northeast teams who have spring training.
Yep.
He also wants to know, is it a bad time to ask you for connections for tickets to the Daytona 500?
Good Lord. I'll see what I can do, man.
I mean, did they get a new car for that motor?
Motorsports?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got so the original car they had in Daytona was wrecked on the 11th lap. Unfortunately, from just a driver and just bad judgment calls. So they had to go to a backup car, not there at the race. They had to purchase one and get it ready for Talladega. Get to Talladega, unfortunately, that car, the engine blows up. So they didn't have the opportunity on the super speedways. But they got a third car. They finally got a couple races under their belt. And then they added a second car so that a team that wants to come in and partner up with them, they're able to do so. So they will hopefully run both cars come next year over for the ARCA series, which is obviously below there. That's pretty much like the minor league, and then you keep kind of moving up from there. So they'll have both cars running in ARCA come next year. Hopefully for Daytona 500 come next year, because the July or the August race, the midsummer race, is about to come up here next weekend down here in Daytona. So they will not be participating in that one. Their season's done. They were only going to run a handful of races this year. So they are done for the season. And then everything will start getting ready and warmed up for next season, because unfortunately, with almost like basketball, basically, NASCAR, the season only ends for about 2 months, and then everybody starts testing after the third week when when the 2025 season is complete.
Yeah. All right. You'll be so tomorrow in the morning you'll be on with Pete on your network, or you'll be out and about.
No, tomorrow Pete will be on. I have a meeting tomorrow, so Pete will be out. He'll be on his own tomorrow morning with the Pete Shepard Show, and then I'll be back with him on Wednesday morning. So Pete and I usually team up Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. over on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. So we normally run that Monday through Friday, and then there's other shows that are sprinkled in between. And on Q, you guys can find it there as well, which is going to be absolutely terrific as far as replays and stuff. So you guys be able to take a look at that stuff there. But no,
I'm already being bumped on a friggin' Friday when you're going to be at Tampa Joe's.
That's because you're going to have to come join me now. As far as when I'm on.
That's fun. We got our football Friday, and all of a sudden, now you're good. You can't go live on these accounts because I'm gonna be at Tampa Joe. Hey man, get that money while you can. Did I tell you the new? So I went through Jack Reacher on Netflix.
Okay.
3 seasons. Wasn't bad. I started to watch now. It's called Black Mirror. Did you ever hear of it?
Yeah, I heard of it. I haven't started yet.
It's like sci-fi-ish Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the shit is crazy. I mean, it's 7 seasons, and Yeah, I have to watch it late, late, late. Um, but it's not that bad. And then I finished because I know I told you to go watch another show. I haven't gotten into the new Dexter, not the one when he's a kid,
Yeah,
but
me
there's like
neither.
yeah, there's like a new Dexter out, and then what the hell was? And I know you don't watch Squid Game. We already had this discussion.
So I do. My lady doesn't watch it. She
Oh,
doesn't
did
watch
you
it.
watch season 3 yet?
Not yet.
Uh, we don't, we'll go in fresh. We'll go in fresh. Um, all right. So, yes, I want to
No.
encourage everyone not to
Okay.
take my listeners away, but check out Coastal Sports Digital Network.com. Of course, SR 1029 FM, the game. You got Pete, you got Angel, you got Lloyd does his show at 8 o'clock. You got our guys, Jonathan Marshall and his brother, Marshall Time Pod. You got a really good lineup of shows. We'll be laying some content on there as well as BYP. But yeah, we got to start getting you on Mondays, especially with football right around the corner, because people enjoy the, you know, Kenny Pickens to Kenny Pickett
Yeah,
comparison.
I know. It's never gonna be let down. It's okay. That's all right. By the way, have you seen any of the train wrecks on Netflix?
No,
You got to watch them.
what's it called?
Train wreck, and it's like different stories. So like they
Oh, not the movie.
no. It's different. It's different stories, but you'll enjoy. The only one that I didn't like was PI Moms. I thought that one was like a really slow start, and then we just watched Hope Solo last night. As
Trainwrecks Netflix.
Yep, and it's
I
like
I started to watch the
what was it? Oh, jeez.
He's obsessed with a guest that we had on like a year ago that was doing the sports betting app. For some reason, he believes he looked like the villain in Walking Tall.
I do remember that guy.
We couldn't find out if that app went off in a hitch.
Who
Probably
knows?
the probably the best thing for me. You get that check to do a little spot and get a couple of live reads, and all of a sudden, that sucker's. I'm not gonna say. It's bouncing, bouncing.
Sure.
I don't think the guy looked like the guy from Walking Tall. That's
I
the
don't think so
thing.
either. I think
Yeah, I know it. For some
somebody's kind of overkilling it. I get it.
All right, get out of here, pal. Let me
Alrighty.
go and wrap this up. But you'll be jumping on with me during the week. I always appreciate you.
Not a problem. Thanks you.
All right, my guy. Oh, too funny. All right, you got to start wrapping it up. Oh, it's a combo walking tall. No, no, no. Don't forget, we're powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee. 20% off your first purchase. Check out the promo code BYP20. Also, Jersey Shore Breaks getting set for season number 2 in March. Definitely check them out on the website, JerseyShoreBreaksTVL.com. And also, Get Ready with Tea and 3 Brooks Bourbon Whiskey, proud sponsors of On Q right here. Not only on my YouTube channel, as well as on X, SR102. And as I mentioned too, Back Your Play starting week 1 of the NFL season will be seen and heard on TV 48, WWON TV in New York and Brooklyn. So you'll be able to check that out. NY48, WWON TV, WON New York.net. That'll be at 11 a.m. every Sunday from 12. That'll be 60 minutes. We'll get you caught up to speed on all the games in the NFL. We'll break them down with the gambling lines, with the updated odds, the lines. We'll do the QPEC, we'll do the picks, and we'll give you guys a little insight when it comes to how we think maybe you guys should play some of these games. And as we always like to say, it's always for fun. It's just information. There are no guaranteed picks and or winners. All right, got to start wrapping it up on a Monday. Good stuff. Appreciate the eyeballs. Always enjoy when Angel pops on. Tomorrow, Steve Gardner, Lloyd Mance in their regular spots. Wednesday, Costco. Thursday, We're going to work in Jonathan Marshall, and then we'll talk to you on Friday as well. But we'll be back in the saddle tomorrow, right around 5-ish or so, a little power hour of On Cue. As always, we appreciate you guys keeping us locked in on our YouTube channels, respectively, also on Coastal Sports Network digital platform, SR1029 FM The Game, and my X account. And I always encourage you guys, please, you guys have been fantastic with the subs on the YouTube channel. Get social with me at Rich Q on X, IG, TikTok, Rich Q on the mic. And as I mentioned, we're live on my YouTube channel, SR1029 FM The Game, CSND, and FL Florida for you guys out there, Coastal Sports Network Digital Florida. So with that being said, have a good Sports Monday. Apparently, some of you guys didn't want to man up on some things, but we'll do it again. We'll be back in the saddle tomorrow for another edition of On Cue. And as I mentioned, you never know who's going to pop in on the air. With that, be safe, be sound. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. As always, I'm Rich Quinones. Hasta luego, mon dia.